what is at least partly causing this terrible devastation. Also, today is part one of a very intricate deep dive into the conflict between actors Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. There is so much there, a lot of lessons actually I think that we can draw from this, but we are going into all of the details of their various lawsuits. And tomorrow will be a very important part two. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Life or Death Con. Life or Death Con is a conference before the March for Life in DC on January 23rd. I will be speaking along with many others. Go to lifeordeathcon.com. Use code ALLIE10 for 10% off your ticket. That's lifeordeathcon.com, code ALLIE10. Hey guys, welcome to Relatable. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is having a wonderful week so far. Today is going to be a more pop culture focused episode. Some of you love when we do pop culture. Some of you do not like it. So if you're not a fan of the pop culture stuff, then I would recommend skipping this episode, or at least skipping that segment of this episode. But I've been wondering what is going on with this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni drama. I've been seeing rumors and bits and pieces of this story on social media for a while. And so I wanted to dig into it and figure out what is really going on. And I actually think it's significant in that there are some relevant lessons to draw from this drama. So I will explain to you what is happening there, why I actually think it's significant, and how I think we can learn something from it. But first, I want to talk about something else that's going on in California right now, and that is the devastating wildfire that is ripping its way through parts of Southern California, specifically in the Pacific Palisades. Yesterday morning around 10:30 a.m., a wildfire broke out along Piedra Morada Drive in Pacific Palisades. By evening, it had grown to more than 2,900 acres. We do not know exactly what started it. There are some guesses that it was actually a group of homeless people that had started a fire for warmth or for whatever, who knows, and that it got out of control. And so obviously right away we see that this is, at least in part, the consequence of policy decisions over the years as California has become more progressive, and they have been unable, or really not unable, but unwilling to do anything about the growing homelessness and public drug use problem in the state of California, that there's been all kinds of issues that have come from that. This could be, we don't know for sure, but this could be one of the results of that unfortunate set of policy prescriptions in the name of social justice that they've put in place over the years. Evacuation orders and warnings are currently in place for the areas affected by and surrounding the fire. Residents have been ordered to go to their nearest evacuation shelter. The fire grew exponentially overnight due to winds up to 100 miles per hour. And so it's just the perfect storm. The combination of wind and fire is obviously a very deleterious one. So this also makes it very difficult to maintain. There are so many firefighters out there right now doing the very best that they can with the resources that they have. In fact, at least a couple of you have reached out to me via Instagram telling me that your husbands are out there right now fighting the fire. And before we say anything else, I just want you to know, and I want to ask the rest of my audience to please pray specifically for the firefighters. Pray for their protection. Pray that God would give them supernatural energy and strength and courage, that they would be preserved and that they would have the ability to put out and to contain these fires. And also just pray for rain. Pray for that God would give mercy through rain that would snuff out the fires entirely. Early this morning, the LA Times reported that some firefighters were reporting over internal radio systems that the fire hydrants in the area were dry. that they were unable to pump water from them. So even though the firefighters are doing what they're supposed to do, they're doing everything they can, they have to rely on these fire hydrants, and they can't even do that because the city was completely unprepared. Now, why would California, with its history of devastating wildfires, be unprepared, this unprepared, that they would not even have water in their fire hydrants? Well, we've got some guesses as to why, and we'll get to that in a second. A spokesperson for the Department of Water and Power acknowledged reports of diminished water flow from hydrants, but did not have details on the number of hydrants without water or the scale of the issue. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection said that wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour are expected to continue. And we've got kind of a picture, a map of where the fires are right now. As of this morning, the fire has burned almost 3,000 acres. It is 0% contained. There are some really scary videos going around right now on X from people who have been unable to escape the fire, or this was right before they evacuated. Absolutely terrifying. Here's SOT 10. I've never been in a situation like that. I don't even know what you do. Did that person die? What happens there? My goodness. Imagine if you have children, if you have babies, oh my goodness, I can't imagine the panic and the terror that is being felt. Let me pause and tell you about our first sponsor for the day, and that is 7 Weeks Coffee. I already got to tell you about them earlier this week, and they really are such an awesome company. 7 Weeks got their name because of the size of a baby in the womb at 7 weeks gestation. It's the size of a coffee bean. And the owners of 7 Weeks Coffee said, hey, we want to start a coffee company because we love great high quality coffee that also helps save the lives of babies inside the womb. And so in selling their pesticide-free, mold-free, totally clean, organic coffee, they also donate 10% in process there, and it makes it really easy. Plus, you save 15% when you do that. And if you use my code Allie at checkout, you save an extra 10%. Go to 7weekscoffee.com, code Allie. That's 7weekscoffee.com, code Allie.
Jellyfish is permanent lighting so good it should be on the naughty list. Invisible in the day and brilliant at night for all your holidays.
Rick Caruso, he is a billionaire and a real estate developer. He called into LA local news to talk about the issue. He called into Fox 11 and said this. He said, this is like a third world country. There is no water coming out of the fire hydrants. LA Mayor Karen Bass is on a foreign trip to Ghana. We don't need local officials, by the way, to be traveling to foreign countries. We don't. The president, certain members of the presidential administration may need to do that for strategic and specific reasons. We don't need mayors to do that. There is zero reason for you to abandon your post, although Karen Bass is not known for maintaining her post in a way that is effective or protective of her constituents at all. So maybe it makes no difference, but at the very least, it is a symbol of her dereliction of duty. And we see this in politicians really across the aisle, but specifically when it comes to these progressive activists, they want power. They are corrupt to the core. They are interested in lining their own pockets. They're interested in pushing their ideology, which is politically and financially expedient to them. They really don't care about serving the people that elected them to serve them. And so, again, this is the result of specific policy decisions, just as we talked about yesterday and Monday. The disasters, many of them that we see, whether it's in our healthcare system, whether it's in our inner cities, when you're talking about homelessness or drug use, or the recidivism rate where you've got criminals getting out of jail or being bailed out easily and then going on to create further victims, the crisis at the border, the fentanyl crisis, the stealing of our technologies, of our national security secrets by nefarious people here from the CCP or other countries. All of these are the results of specific policy decisions. They're not inevitable. And a lot of what is happening here in California right now is not inevitable. The LA Fire Department launched their DEI, that's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, in January 2023. ABC 7 called their lack of past DEI initiatives a crisis that the department was responding to. This was a while ago when they aired this particular segment about it. Here is SOT 9.
The department's first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau will launch in January, 1 year since its first ever female fire chief, Kristen Crowley, was appointed.
So by creating this new bureau, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, now we actually have the staff to do the work when it comes to doing a deep dive in regard to how we do business, how we take care of one another in the fire stations and in our work environment.
So there you have it. That was the crisis that they were focusing on. That was where they were putting their time, their effort, their money. Here's what I said on X, and I'll just reiterate it. DEI is a tool of destruction. Everywhere it is wielded. There are some people, even on the conservative side, who would say, oh, well, parts of DEI are necessary. They might even say diversity is our strength. Certainly people on the progressive side. Diversity of sexual preferences, diversity of so-called gender identity, diversity of skin color, diversity of immigrant status. This is all so important to have this kind of representation among our firefighters, among our police officers, among our Congress people, among our military. Let me just tell you right now, it is not. It's not diversity in and of itself, when it is a goal in and of itself, is actually more likely to chaos and destruction than it is to enable strength and cohesion. Diversity without a shared value system, a shared priority that is transcendent of all of our differences, is actually a weakness, not a strength. The reason why diversity within the body of Christ, within the global church, is beautiful is because we are united by something that transcends all of these external differences. We are united by the gospel. We weigh our value by who God says that we are, and we are citizens primarily of his kingdom. But without that kind of transcendent cohesion and shared belief system, diversity actually can tear institutions and organizations apart. And when you prioritize anything, but in particular diversity, equity, inclusion, which are really all just euphemisms for discrimination against white men, when you prioritize that over what should be prioritized in every institution, but especially every organization that is saving people's lives, fire department, police department, military, you are going to eventually kill people. You will lead to death. When you sacrifice competence or effectiveness for diversity, you will kill people. I say social justice kills. People used to think that was such an extreme thing to say. It's true. Soft on crime policies, soft on drug policies, soft on homelessness policies. All of these policies kill. They lead to death. They lead to chaos. They lead to destruction. When you prioritize DEI over competence, over effectiveness, people will die. But that is exactly the calculation that progressives have made. They think that it is more important to meet these superficial, artificial quotas than it is for everyone to reach the necessary standard in order for their institution or organization to actually be good and effective at what they do. And okay, maybe that's a sacrifice you as a private business owner are willing to make if you own an accounting firm. Maybe it's more important to you that you meet these quotas than it is for everyone to be as good as they can be at their job. But when you're using public money, when you are running an organization that means life or death for the people that you're serving, it should be illegal. It should be illegal for you to prioritize these DEI initiatives at all. Diversity should not be a goal within these institutions at all. Competence should. When it comes to military, lethality. End of story. It doesn't matter if it is all white men. If it is all white men and your military unit is the most lethal that it can be, then good. It doesn't matter what the gender is, what the race is. The most important thing is that you are able to do your job. Your institution is able to work as it should.
I cannot recommend Paleo Valley's Organ Complex enough, and you can try it today for 50% off. Now, adding it to my morning routine transformed my energy, mood, and productivity. And it wasn't until I was studying for my doctorate that I realized I didn't have a caffeine deficiency. I was actually missing key nutrients, especially B vitamins that are vital for energy, mood, and mental clarity. Now, organ meats like heart, liver, and kidney are nature's multivitamins. Now, liver's packed with B vitamins and vitamin A for energy, brain health, and immunity. Heart is a top source of CoQ10 for heart health, and kidney contains selenium for
I said in my X post, diversity is not a worthy goal in itself. Effectiveness is. When you sacrifice effectiveness for diversity, especially in the fire department, police force, or military unit, people will die. I am tired of innocent people's lives being placed on the altar of equity. Enough. Enough. I am also tired of people's lives, of people's livelihoods being placed on the altar of fake environmentalism. I mean, ask the farmers in Central California about the Delta smelt. The radical environmentalist groups who bully the politicians in the state of California decided that the Delta smelt, this tiny little fish in the waterways of California, was more important than farmers in Central California, which are responsible for a huge amount of food production, being able to properly water their crops. That caused food shortages, that caused people's livelihoods to be upended, but because these environmentalist groups cared more about, not even equally, but more about preserving this tiny fish and not disrupting the ecosystem at all, they were willing to sacrifice these farmers and the people who rely on these farmers for food supply. Look, progressivism kills. It sucks. It causes chaos. And that is why, again, one reason we have to care about politics, why all these conversations matter. It's not just, oh, I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to be divisive. Look, when people's lives are on the line and politics are affecting policy, which affects people's lives, Christians have to care because we understand more than anyone else how much a human life matters. So all that to say, I am really praying for California. I'm praying for God's mercy there. And yes, of course, I'm praying for instant reprieve from these fires, but I am also praying for God's mercy to manifest itself in a change of leadership in California. Like, when will the people there learn that the people that you're voting for actually hate you? And the policies that are being implemented are destructive. Maybe not to the billionaires who can just hop on their private jet and go to their home in Montana for a few weeks, but to everyone if you really have the compassion that you say that you do, then maybe you'll reevaluate that has led you to vote for people who are so incredibly awful at their jobs. All right, let me pause and tell you about our next sponsor before we get into the rest of this, and that is Cozy Earth. Okay, why not make better sleep a New Year's resolution? I think that is great. We're really thinking about like getting back to the grind and working harder and waking up earlier when it comes to New Year's resolutions, which might all be good, but all of that depends upon how well we rest and how well and you might not think about your sheets being a contributing factor to the quality of your sleep, but they really are. That's why I love my Cozy Earth sheets. They are made from the best, most temperature regulating fabric. They feel luxurious and soft and breathable. breathable. Maybe that's a new word. I meant to say breathable, but sure, that works too. And so they just feel really good. I also love all of my lounge. I get messages from you guys all the time who are hooked on Cozy Earth. Yeah, me too. I love their pajamas. I love their pants, their pullovers. It's all just incredible. If you go to cozyearth.com/relatable, you can use my exclusive code relatable for 40% off, up to 40% off. cozyearth.com/relatable.
However you style your cabana bowl, one thing's for sure. You have great taste.
Okay, let's get into what is going on with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Bree is going to be joining into this conversation because she actually knew a lot about this before I started looking into it. And so I will lean on her to explain a few things. But let me just tell you what is going on. I will try to keep it as concise as possible. I saw yesterday that I did not make it to under an hour on yesterday's episode, which means I have already lost my New Year's resolution to try to keep every episode under an hour in 2025. But my dad said I could blame it on him. I got my yapping honest. And so the apple didn't fall far from the tree there. But I will try. I'll try to keep this under an hour. I don't think it's going to happen today. Maybe I can just abandon my resolution altogether. Okay, so this is what's going on. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, both actors. Maybe you know Blake Lively from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, like I do. I think that's the last movie I've seen her in. I don't know. Maybe that was 2004. Something. I think that was the perfect role for her, but that's all I really know about Blake Lively's career. Had never heard of Justin Baldoni before all of this. So here's the summary, and then we'll get into the details. And again, I actually think there are significant lessons for us to draw from all of this. Blake Lively is the star of It Ends With Us. This is a movie based on Colleen Hoover's popular novel. And we will link the episode that I did on Colleen Hoover and her books and why I think they're so problematic and why I just think that they make women's brains mush and probably ruin relationships because they are just smut. Very easy to read, but complete and total smut, and at the very least emotional porn, if not actual porn. And there's an argument to be made that even while she is condemning domestic violence, she is almost weirdly glorifying it and romanticizing it in some of these books, specifically in It Ends With Us. I did read this book before I knew anything about Colleen Hoover. So that's what this movie is about. And that context is important, that it's about domestic violence. And the title of the movie and book is supposed to be, look, this curse, this horrible sin of domestic violence is supposed to end with the protagonist of this, which is Blake Lively's character. Okay, so Blake Lively recently filed a lawsuit against her co-star in the film and the film's director, Justin Baldoni, alleging sexual harassment, among many other things, during the film's production. Baldoni has denied any wrongdoing, has filed a $250 million lawsuit of his own, not against Blake Lively, but against the New York Times for their reporting on the allegations. And his lawyer, big celebrity lawyer who has represented a lot of very powerful celebrities, Brian Friedman, has threatened to file a lawsuit against Lively. Both parties accuse the other of orchestrating smear campaigns to destroy the other's career and reputation. I will say the only thing I really knew about this going into it, besides what the movie was about, was that Blake Lively started a few months ago, started having videos of her past interviews going around, or she didn't have them going around, like she didn't post them herself, but other people, I don't know, just anonymous ex-users, TikTok users, started posting these old interviews of Blake Lively where she really comes across as very bratty. And I was wondering, like, why are people posting this now? Some of these are several years old, is this orchestrated? And I'm not saying that it was, but I have heard more negative things about Blake Lively in the past few months than I had ever heard before. And I did have my own suspicions back then, again, before all of this drama, that was actually purposeful, that that bad press was being put out there by someone who had a bone to pick with her. And so maybe that's a rumbling that you have heard, that you have seen too. And if that's all the context that you have, that's fine, because I'm going to fill in the details here. So here again are the key players. We got Blake Lively, 37 years old, played Lily Bloom in the film. We've got Justin Baldoni, director of the film, stars as Ryle Kincaid, Lily's abusive partner. We've got Wayfarer Studios, Baldoni's production company, produced It Ends With Us. Jamie Heath, Justin's producing partner and CEO of Wayfarer Studios. Melissa Nathan, Justin's crisis publicist. Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively's publicist. So here's some more background and timeline. It Ends With Us was released on August 9th. It did really well, grossed $351 million. At the time of the movie's release, Baldoni praised Blake Lively as, quote, strong, funny, and intelligent. All the things that you want from a female heroine. And then there were feud rumors that started circulating right around the time of the release of the movie. This is according to the New York Times. There was social media. There were social media fans who noticed that Baldoni and Lively avoided each other during the film's promotion, that they didn't follow each other on social media. We don't know how internet sleuths find out the things that they do, but they are basically like professional observers of these kinds of things. People who pay very close attention to everything that celebrities are doing. They're always looking for Easter eggs. They're always looking for connections and theories and all of that kind of thing. And so that's what starts sometimes like some kind of viral conversation. These posts started circulating on different social media platforms. Wait, why don't they actually appear in any of the promotion or marketing of the film together? At first, fans believed that Baldoni was not posing for cameras with his co-stars as a marketing tactic because he plays an abusive husband, and so maybe they were afraid that it wouldn't be as believable if they were all buddy-buddy off camera. However, internet sleuths also noticed that the stars no longer and still don't follow each other on social media, with many of the film's cast following Lively, but not Baldoni. Colleen Hoover also no longer follows Baldoni, and Ryan Reynolds blocked Baldoni months before the film's release, according to texts from Baldoni's team, which we may talk about in just a little bit if we have time. The drama was fueled by reports of conflict during the making of the film, all by anonymous sources from production. Hollywood Reporter reports that there was a fracture among the filmmakers and the post-production process were two different cuts of the movie emerged. TMZ reported that the problems between them allegedly arose after Blake felt, quote-unquote, fat-shamed, we'll get into that, by Justin on set while they were preparing for a scene that saw him lift her off the ground. Fans also noticed that Baldoni and Lively did not interact at the premiere for the film. This is from Daily Mail. It Ends With Us. Fans are convinced there's a huge feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Here's why. And of course, they were right. And we've got pictures of this. We've got pictures of Blake Lively posing with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, with another co-star. We've got another picture of Blake Lively with another co-star, but did not appear in any pictures with Justin Baldoni. And then there was also, this is a screenshot from the promo video where you've got Blake Lively and three of her co-stars. You do not see Justin Baldoni there, which I think is very strange. All of the interviews that she did not do with him, not only because he is the co-star is this strange that she didn't do any interviews with him, but also because he is the director. You would have thought that they would have, if they had a good relationship, come together and tried to promote the film together, but They really didn't. Around this time, Baldoni hired crisis management and PR professional Melissa Nathan, I guess because of the rumor circulating that, oh, this doesn't look good. Why don't people follow Baldoni? Is he really a bad guy? And he was like, I'm going to get out ahead of this. I'm just surmising here. And I'm going to hire this crisis management publicist, Melissa Nathan. Lots of previous clients, including Johnny Depp during his successful defamation trial against Amber Heard. And just like looking at that, I would say that Melissa Nathan did an effective job, because by the end of that, I think most public opinion was against Amber Heard and in favor of Johnny Depp. Again, I don't know exactly what role she played in the internet's opinions, but I'm sure if she is a stealth publicist, she had quite a significant role in that. Let me pause and tell you about our next sponsor. That is Good Ranchers. We love Good Ranchers in our home. It's all-American meat from all-American farmers. They've got a great deal going on right now when you subscribe. So get that box of all-American meat, beef, chicken, seafood, all that good stuff to your front door on dry ice every month. You also get one meat for free for an entire year. So you can pick the package of meat that you like, the better than organic chicken that's either pre-marinated or not, the beef that you want, the kind of seafood that you want. They'll add that to your box for free every year. Plus, when you use my code Allie, you get $25 off your order. That is goodranchers.com/Allie. Code Allie for $25 off. Goodranchers.com/Allie. Also around this time, though, people started criticizing Blake Lively. Lively is known for her upbeat and kind of witty demeanor, very likable girl next door. And yet, people were saying around the release of this film that Lively seemed extremely tone deaf in her promotion, very aloof. And a lot of the interviews that I alluded to from the past that people started circulating online, that's how she comes across. She comes across as very aloof. And to be quite honest, she comes across in those interviews, a couple of them we'll play clips from, as extremely self-absorbed. And so that's what people started to say online. She was seen promoting both a movie about domestic violence and at the same time her cocktail brand, Betty Buzz, at a pop-up shop in Chelsea. The New York Times wrote about this, saying it's a cheery gimmick that seems awkwardly out of step within the context of the film itself, which tells the story of a woman dealing with domestic violence. And you can see this picture right here. So here she is in Chelsea. The reason why people thought that this was problematic is because she is combining her promotion of her cocktail company with the promotion of the movie. So her company is called Betty Buzz, her cocktail company, and in the movie, Lily, the character that she plays, owns a flower shop, and her name is Lily Bloom, and so it's a play on that. And so you can see here the little cart that she is using to promote both things is called Betty Bloom's. So it's a play altogether, and people just thought that that was a strange marketing gimmick given the gravity of the subject of the movie. I don't know. I'm not really sure about that. I'm not sure whether or not that is tone deaf. Maybe so, but I could see the argument of saying, well, it's a movie and it is kind of just I won't call it a rom-com, but it is, even though it's a serious subject that the book is about, it is marketed as this light reading for women who don't want to think very hard as they're reading. It's not War and Peace. Of course, domestic violence is serious, but that's kind of like Colleen Hoover's thing, is she writes about some serious subjects, but in a way that is very romantic, in a way that is kind of easy. So I'm not sure if Blake Lively is at fault for something like this. I don't know if necessarily it means that she doesn't actually care about domestic violence. Maybe you could argue that for other reasons. I don't know if this is a great example of that. Social media responded when news emerged that Blake's Betty Buzz company had provided Ins With Us themed cocktails for the film's premiere after party, including one called Rile You Wait, named after the character in the film who throws his wife down the stairs. Now, that I would say is maybe a little far. Okay, that I can agree is weird. That's weird. Like, to, in a funny way, in some kind of like endearing way, name specifically an alcoholic drink, which is known to exacerbate the problem of. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong in my whole assessment that I just told you. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about this as I go. But this puts a finer point on it to promote alcohol when you are also seemingly kind of glorifying the antagonist abuser in the movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It does seem like you are trivializing the whole issue. So I'm debating with myself, and you are welcome to give your thoughts in the YouTube comments. There are some comments under the Instagram post where she posted that. Is your company at least making a donation to an organization helping victims of domestic violence? Just cute cocktails and marketing? Someone else said people with alcohol issues are 6 times more likely to abuse their partners. I think that is a great point that I didn't think about when I first started talking about the whole Betty Buzz, Betty Bloom thing. Promoting a film with such a powerful DV theme, domestic violence theme, with an alcohol brand is disappointing and disrespectful of domestic violence survivors. Yeah, I get that perspective, and I think that's true. That's fair. Another thing that the audience is saying was tone deaf was that the It Ends With Us TikTok page also released a promo where Lively and Colleen Hoover, the author of the book, said, "Grab your friends and wear your florals." Here they are. Saw one.
Hello, Blake Lively here.
Colleen Hoover.
And It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals.
I don't know. I don't think that was that bad. Bree, do you disagree with me?
I mean, in general, I think people are overreacting a little bit because it's a movie. But yeah, I think it's a tiny bit insensitive because it's not a rom-com. I see your point that like it's kind of marketed as one. The book is, at least, in the sense that like she does fall in love, I guess, at the end. I haven't read it, but I mean, grab your friends and your florals is a little bit like you're going to watch a rom-com. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know I heard people go to this movie who did not know what it was about, who thought it was just a rom-com, and they got in and were like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
it's not The Proposal.
No.
With Ryan Reynolds, which, by the way, like, one of my favorite rom-coms.
So good.
Makes me laugh out loud. That is a rom-com. Sweet Home Alabama is a rom-com.
Yep.
This, I guess, it's not a comedy.
No.
It's romantic, but it's not funny and lighthearted. But again, I think that is Colleen Hoover. That's her brand. Like, all of her stuff is marketed as kind of light and airy, but a lot of it has to do with really deep and dark issues that aren't presented, by the way, always in like, hey, this is really deep and dark, you should seek help, and certainly not in a gospel-centered way. But it is kind of like you fall in love. She wants you to like fall in love and be sexually attracted to the abusive character before you learn that he's abusive. Like, and I get that's what a secular author would do, but I think it's problematic in that way. And that's why the marketing is confused, because Colleen Hoover is confused.
I will say also, this is her first adaptation. They're adapting a bunch of her books now, but this is the first one. And I think there aren't a lot of other authors, at least popular authors, who are doing that exact thing.
Yeah.
Not that she's groundbreaking, but just the tone is kind of unique to her. And I think they have now figured out that it can't be marketed like this.
Okay, but do you think it was tone deaf, or do you think it was purposeful? Like, if they like opened up each commercial like, I don't know, the beginning of Law and Order SVU, people weren't probably going to go.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think they wanted people like you and me to go, and it could have been more strategic? that they also realized that people really just want lighthearted romantic comedies, and they wanted people to walk into the theater and not know what it was going to be, because if they told everyone it was about abuse, they wouldn't go.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely what it was. I would say it's still kind of tone deaf because I don't think they expected people to have the backlash.
To care.
Yeah, to care as much as they did. But I agree with you. I think that was the strategy for sure.
Yeah. Interestingly, it was Baldoni who said, I don't really want to do the whole like rom-com promotion thing now. So he wasn't a part of all of that, the lightheartedness about it, which made him come across like, well, see, I really care about domestic violence, which maybe was genuine, but also could have been strategic.
Well, he has claimed that he got the rights to this because he read the book, he went directly to Colleen Hoover and said, I have to make this because I care so much about the subject matter, and that's why he ultimately bought the property. And so he has kind of a history of making it known that he does care about this. Again, I don't know how genuine it is, but he comes across as being genuine about it. And even in the text exchanges...
He calls himself a male feminist.
Oh, he totally does, yeah. But in the text exchanges that he released, to be fair, he released to them, they do come across as pretty sincere. He's even talking about when he gets slighted, which I guess we can talk about later, by Blake, that he, the thing that really matters is that women are seeing this and can see themselves in this movie. So, I don't know. He comes across as sincere, I will say.
Yeah, and maybe he is. We just have the thing is, we don't know who is being sincere and earnest and who is just being strategic and cynical, and maybe it's a combination of both on both sides.
Yeah.
It typically is something like that. If you are a business owner, then you need to listen up. NetSuite is going to make your life so much easier, your business so much more efficient, and consequently more successful. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 cloud ERP that brings accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. You are closing your books in days rather than weeks, and so you can spend your valuable time doing the things that you both need and want to do. Whether you've got a big business or a small business, NetSuite can really help you. Download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Allie. The guide is free at netsuite.com/Allie. All right, that concludes today's episode. It's all we have time for. And so tomorrow we will be back with part 2 with so much more on this. You don't want to miss it. See you then.
Every morning you groove me.
People didn't hear what your chorus was.
Yeah, it was grooming gangs, grooming gangs.
That's pretty bad.
Every morning you groom me. It's not funny, man. This is very, very messed up.
It's a very serious topic, everyone. Very serious topic. I wanted to say tick-tock, time to rock, but I wasn't sure my voice would hold up. I should have said like a tick-tack, time for my voice to crack like I'm inspiring philosophy. But we had to go ahead and go live because we wanted to cover this, and there have been too many topics building up. AP, we could do 3 shows a day for the next week and not catch up. Hey, why don't you tell everyone real quick, like, what you went viral for today?
Yeah, I don't even know why I'm here, hanging out with you when I'm famous today. I'm a celebrity. With no business being here, because earlier today, yesterday I saw this thing that Andrew Tate was threatening this girl who was like 20 years old and who was actually a victim of a grooming gang.
Mm-hmm. Extremely messed up.
And she went after Andrew Tate and traffickers and things like that, and he started bullying her and sending his people after her and threatening her, and then eventually forced her into just taking things back. And she said, I don't want to deal with all of this, so I just deleted everything I said. And then he, on top of that, started bullying her again, and then added a tweet saying, anyone who calls me or my brother a rapist will get sued.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that and I thought, really, bro? So I took a screenshot of that and I highlighted it and said Andrew Tate is a rapist. And yeah, that started blowing up. I think it has
Want to go check that out real quick.
And then people started joining in and saying it with me. It has 100,000 likes right now, and
100,000 likes.
And 2.5 million views.
2.5 million views. And anyone who wants to do a quick search for Andrew Tate as a rapist or something like that, check out how many people are joining in.
It's powerful. It's awesome. I'm proud of that.
I'm proud of that. It is, because that's a really messed up situation. Like, you're looking at him bullying this victim of a grooming gang. And watching her like, okay, fine, please, I'll do whatever you want, and her basically begging to leave her alone because of him and all his fans, and him just piling on, right? Ha no, you'll make me a sandwich. I'm gonna go through it. And it's like, here's a girl who's been traumatized by men, and then you've got a guy who likes traumatizing women, and him taking advantage of that. And a certain type of people, if you say, man, screw you, come and sue me, little punk, right? Then all of a sudden, oh no, I don't want to mess with this guy. As soon as he finds someone who's no, please don't sue me, then he goes after them, right? He's what a scumbag, man. He likes abusing women. He likes psychologically abusing and traumatizing women, and it makes him feel like a real man. It's absolutely pathetic. Oh, let's make him prime minister. It's good to see he's moved on from the Islam grift. So he was a kickboxer for a while, then found out he could be a webcam guru and spend all his time pretending to be a woman online, talking to men, getting them off. Then he realized it's an even bigger grift to do the training. So I could do training. I could do an entire course on how to do this for a bunch of 15-year-olds and stuff who think they can do the exact same thing. Then I'll be their heroes. Then he started getting called out for that, started getting into legal trouble. So then he rebranded himself as a self-help guru. So I just tell young guys to work hard and get Bugattis. What's wrong with that? And following that, it was, hey guys, I'm a Muslim. Look, I'm being persecuted. They're persecuting me from being a Muslim. The Matrix is coming after me for being a Muslim. And now it's, we must stop Britain. We must stop Great Britain from being invaded by Muslims. No, I am the savior. It's like, what is it? Every about 2 years now, this guy comes up with a completely different grift and flips it.
Yeah. He just he wants to jump onto the next. And the thing is, we predicted this, right? I mean, a long time ago, when this was when he first converted to Islam, or allegedly and made it public, we predicted that this will not last. He will probably move on. He will probably at some point leave Islam and move on to the next thing, and probably be at some point against Islam and so on. I mean, we could go back to our live streams that we had about this, and we predicted this kind of stuff. It's happening right now. He is openly saying things like that he is not afraid of going against Muslims, and that Muslims cause hate by supporting disgusting things, and there is a Muslim problem in Britain. And he's saying things like that. And of course, you would expect now somebody like me to be like, oh, okay, well, let's look at this. He's saying something interesting. No, I don't care. I don't care if he comes and personally greets me and personally says that I am the most fantastic and the most right person in the world, and he will agree with whatever I agree, and he will give me $5 million, I will still maintain that this guy is an absolutely horrible, disgusting human being, and that nothing at all is redeemable about nothing is redeeming about him. He's horrible no matter where he goes.
Yeah, it is weird after all these years of him jumping on various bandwagons to get followers that today you'll have people going, "Wow, Andrew Tate's on our side now."
He's never on your side. No matter what side you are on, Andrew Tate is never on your side, no matter what he does.
Tate is always on Andrew Tate's side, and he does whatever is convenient for him. Yes. And occasionally that will line up with you. And you'll say, "Oh, well, I agree with him because he's on my side." No, he's on the same side he's always been on, his own side.
Yes.
And you should be able to see this because literally at the same time that he was saying, "I'm going to come in there and save you, save Great Britain from these grooming gangs. I will be the top G as Prime Minister, and I will save you." He's literally on trial for being a grooming trafficker. That's still going on. And simultaneously, he's bullying and harassing victims of the grooming gangs. He clearly loves doing it. It's his favorite thing. Bullying women is his favorite thing on the planet to do. There's not even a close second.
Tis. And but don't you know that the case is up and he's been declared innocent?
Idiots.
I don't know if we have to go back and do a whole thing again, like an expose, do a whole analysis.
We should get Murdered by Crayons and what's the other one?
Yeah.
Get those guys on. Let's go through all this stuff.
Nothing like that happened. The case has not been dismissed. He is not free. He is still facing multiple charges, awaiting trial. Tons of evidence against him. The only thing that did happen recently was that the court sent saying you have to fix a few things before we proceed with this.
Yeah, every time they say that, like the judge will say, "Hey, you say to the prosecutor, hey, this was prepared improperly," or something like this, resubmit it or drop this part or something like that. Then Tate instantly, "The charges have all been dropped," and his fans, "All the charges have all been dropped. We're free." Meanwhile, where's your world tour, sport? Where's your world tour?
The funny thing is, just a week or two ago, he was saying, "We're free, case dismissed, we know victory." Today he's tweeting, and the Matrix is going to stage an attack. The Matrix is going to come after us, and I can see through the Matrix, but this does not mean that I will not go to prison. I probably will. He actually tweeted that today.
Probably go to prison. It's almost like the charges haven't been dropped. Weird. I'm so confused. Anyway, so we got that. We got Piers Morgan just interviewed Gad Saad. To his credit, because they were going after each other on Twitter a bit, but Pierce actually, again, to his credit, he didn't run from it. He actually said, "Hey, we're going back and forth. Why don't we just do this? Just do this on a show?" So there's that, and then what else happened? You were mentioning.
He also had Mehdi Hassan on the same episode, and about the whole grooming gang issue and Elon Musk's tweets and Islamophobia, and Mehdi Hassan went just completely crazy, and the audience reaction is quite appropriate. People are there is a turning tide right now, and people are saying this Mehdi Hassan guy makes me Islamophobic and makes me right wing, and so on. we have to look at that.
Great job, Mehdi. Yeah, we've got that. We've still got the Elon going back and forth with people like with people supporting the grooming gangs and so on. Got Hijab flipping out and doing the exact same thing, but trying it with Elon, right? Hijab has one method: to do what I want, and I'll praise you and say, "Well, what a great person you are." And if you don't do it, I'll say, "Oh, what about your family? Oh, let me investigate your family." He does it every time and doesn't realize it doesn't work with everybody. With some people, it has the exact opposite impact. And it's just hilarious because Elon is someone who could instantly draw attention to anything he wants to. He has that ability. He has that ability right now. And you've got Mohammed Hijab and so on. Tactical genius that he is. Let me annoy this guy as much as possible and insult him and his family as much as I can. Great. Keep doing that, Hijab. Please, Mohammed Hijab. I know we've had our differences in the past. But as an olive branch, let me say, keep doing that. Keep annoying the guy who has the ability to just absolutely crush you at any time, just by drawing attention to various things. Please do that. Keep doing that. Don't try to get along with him. I mean, here it's a weird situation because they're like the smartest thing Muslims could have done. The smartest thing. Like how do you not read a person? The absolute smartest thing you could have done with Elon Musk would have been to quote tweet him and say, Elon is absolutely correct. As a Muslim, I condemn this, and we should go after the grooming gangs to weed them out. That's something we can all agree on. He would have been happy to see Muslims agreeing with him and other people being on his side, and he would have shared that tweet, drawn lots of attention to you, and the whole thing would have a completely different vibe right now. Instead of, oh, he's attacking us, oh my goodness, we will expose him and his son. Oh, idiots. Absolutely.
This is funny. You're presenting them the instructions manual right here, but they don't even get it. They will still go on attacking Elon Musk and call him an Islamophobe.
Because they have no concept of actually changing the method based on who you're talking to. It's all we have one method. It's the people we like, we do this. The people we don't like, we do that. And there is no plan B.
And then the consequences of that, Elon Musk is now responding to Islamophobia accusations by saying things like, by retweeting or agreeing with or quote tweeting with, good point, things like, why is there no Christophobia or Hinduphobia or Sikhophobia? There's only Islamophobia. He tweeted something like that and said, he retweeted something like that today and said, exactly. So this is what you get when you attack this guy with the Islamophobia.
Mm-hmm. And also at the end of this is not a guy who backs down from pressure. I mean, you had he instead he calls it out and blasts it. There was that famous clip where he's on stage and he tells like Disney to go F themselves with the president right there, right? He starts telling these guys, like, you guys coming up to me telling me, oh, I have to change my platform to do this, or you're going to pull your money. You trying to control me with money? He just tells them to go F themselves, right? Yeah, that's how he reacts to people trying to push him into doing something. What are the Muslims? Oh, let's try to push him into doing what we want through insults. Brilliant. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. It's bound to work. In fact, Mohammed Hijab, all you guys, I think since this isn't working so far, maybe you're not pushing hard enough. Maybe you need to come after him even harder, man. Maybe you need to be blasting away even more. Maybe you need to become obsessed with taking down Elon Musk. Do it. It's the only way. It's the only way to protect your religion.
That's very elongated. Another thing that happened is, speaking of Elon Musk, today he held a Spaces conversation with.
Did you say racist or spacist?
Both. He held a racist Spaces conversation with the leader of the German political rising party AfD, Alice Weidel. We also talked about her recently. Yes, exactly. We talked about her after the terrorist attack in Magdeburg on the Christmas market, where you liked her
based speech.
Yeah, she's pretty based, and they had a conversation together on Spaces, where they talked about various different things, and it was also crazy because the European Union announced that they had assigned 150 people to oversee this conversation to make sure that during the conversation between Elon Musk and Alice Weidel, no European laws are broken. So
people
they were really
nuts, man.
Yeah, they're really like monitoring this. And during this conversation, Elon asked her. He asked her a few things, like the things that people are curious about, because some people depict it as this Nazi party and so on. So he said, what is your stance on Israel? And she said, kind of like, it is complicated. Then he clarified and said, so the question would be, do you unequivocally support the existence of Israel? And she said, of course I do. And we have to defend Israel. We have to support Israel.
That's not a very Nazi thing to say.
And then she followed up and said, but more importantly to us, she said, we have to defend the people in our country. And in our country right now, Jewish people are not safe. And then she went very clear and explicit and said, the Jewish people in our country Germany are under attack by Muslims. By Muslims. Then, so she said Muslim. She didn't even mince it. She didn't even say like Islamist or radical or anything. You're muted, dude. I don't know why you muted yourself.
Radical Islamist.
Yeah, she didn't say radical Islamist or anything like that. She just said Muslim crime, and then she went on and said that the other parties did nothing to protect Jews, and Jews are currently in danger by leftist terrorists and Muslim terrorists. These are her words. And we are the only ones who actually will protect them and change things here, is what she said. So very, very interesting stuff.
Weird for Nazi party unequivocally supporting the Jewish state and saying we need to protect Jews at all costs.
Yeah.
If I didn't know better, which I don't, I might think that people are just calling them Nazis to marginalize them.
I did not see that coming.
All right, let's take a couple super chats. And then, anyway, the point of all that, ladies and gentlemen, was 2025 is shaping up to be a really interesting year so far. Lots of interesting things to discuss and talk about. We wanted to take a closer look. We sort of looked at it as kind of we looked at a little bit of this the other day on AP's channel when we saw this guy who really annoyed us. We didn't watch much of it. We're actually going to go through it now, and we're going to look at what the Quran says, because he claimed to be an expert on this issue, and we're going to make fun of him, take a first couple super chats, and then we'll jump into that. Took a look at one of the main Shia books, Al-Kafi in Arabic so far. Age of consummation is 9 to 10, racism, dimitude, etc. Not sure if this book is equally legally binding as Al-Bukhari.
I think it is the primary book in Shia.
That's basically the Shia book.
Yeah. Shia scholars have been referencing that and using that as authoritative in rulings and so on.
How's your voice, David? Well, you can tell it's better than it was 2 weeks ago. Honey, chicken soup. Yes, been eating lots of chicken soup. Honey, I put some in my green tea, although I don't know why, because I'm sweet enough. Salam, everyone hit that like button, or we know we are tour all over that black screen. Is everyone saying that now and I just missed it? Or and we helped the believers against the unbelievers, and we made the followers of apologetics roadshow uppermost until the last day. Inshallah. And AP, hey, you should share something like that, AP, about Allah making you uppermost with your tweet that went viral. Very funny, wasn't it?
Pretty fun. Hilarious.
Oh, look at this. Why did Momo punch Aisha? She was being a minor inconvenience. Get it?
Nice.
The only thing Momo won't groom is his beard. Or the semen on it. It's pretty... I can't use the second part of that, but I'm going to steal the first one. So that's kind of a dad joke. You went from dad joke to... Tate is therapist. That'll be your defense in court, AP, when he sues you. No, I said he was therapist. Yeah. Saw AP cavity search prisoner Aiden Doyle. Doyle was smuggling copium into a debate. He lost very badly. Prison guard did nothing wrong.
Nicely put. Thank you.
We might need to do that. We might need to go through some of that if you want to check that out. AP and D Wood. What would be a model for an ideal society? 1950s America, 1970s Japan, 1980s Sweden, 1990s Germany, 2000s Israel. Which is best? I'm not sure there would be any ideal society. Societies, you always have a mixture of good features and bad features. You can definitely say certain ones are better than others. I'd have to think about it for a while before. But you lived in 1990. You were a little kid. Were you born in the 1990s?
Me? Yes. I was born in 1991.
So you saw 1990s Germany.
Yes.
What do you like better? 1990s Germany or 1970s Japan?
Well, I was in both, so I would say I would prefer 1970s Japan.
What about 2000s cricket? Turkey?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I would say ideal society, in my opinion, would be 117 Roman Empire.
Yeah, that'd be good too. I'd go Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. Wrong thing. Tate the top G Muslim groomer. That's true. That's what he does. Muslims on social media making the LA wildfires about Gaza. Fires are still burning, and they want to take all the attention away from the victims.
That's true.
That is stupid, isn't it, by the way? I mean, that is like the most, one of the most pro-Hamas areas on the planet. You see, Allah is punishing them with fire. Okay.
Punishing the Jews. I know. Everybody is very surprised when they hear how old I am. Everybody always thinks I'm 20 years older than I actually am. And then when I tell people how old I am, they're like, what? What?
What do you guys think the Tates are going all anti-grooming gang despite knowing about and coming from the same town as Tommy and not saying a thing before? Because they're grifters. They just saw a way to get in good with a bunch of people who are on Twitter right now and to present themselves as the heroes and possibly to get on the same side with Elon, and it worked. He fell for it. Elon fell for it. He probably doesn't know a lot about some of the people he retweets and stuff. I'm sure he knows some things about Andrew Tate, but it's easy if you don't actually follow it and you don't actually follow Murdered by Crayons and so on and Milk Bar TV. It's easy to just hear Tate's fans constantly say, "Oh, the charges were dismissed. It was all lies," and actually believe it.
It's called griftology.
It's called griftology. Yeah. Pierce Morgan will not interview Tommy, but has no issue platforming Tate. Yeah, repeatedly.
Yes.
And a bunch of people who are also really terrible. He did a great job in his debate, but he already knows he did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. AP doesn't need your opinion. What is the opinion of a woman worth? What movie was that from? Oh, no, that was Princess Bride. Sorry. It was The Promise of a Woman. What is that word? What are you listening to?
Nothing.
This is what you do? You sit here listening to Taylor Swift while we're...
No, I just accidentally opened a thing that I was rendering here.
So glad the grooming gang issue is finally coming to light and Muslims defend it instead of saying we have a problem will only take Islam further. It is. This is not going to be good for Islam, but it is an awesome way to start out 2025. Canada 2015, Justin Trudeau won vote as Prime Minister because of 2-year-old Alan Kurdi. Photo shown Trudeau demanded 25,000 refugees of Syria. Photos of child victims in Nice of Stockholm attack not shown. Well, it's basically saying, remember that picture of that kid on the beach and so on? Saying that. As they get called racist, yet they openly mock any other religion. Your channel helped me debate my family. I rejected Islam. Thank you.
It's good. Nice.
Very good. Very good. Very good. And that's actually what we're talking about. That is a problem. You have all these British people, and the moment you start even trying to look at where some of these guys might be getting their ideas about how they can treat non-Muslims, you get shut down in one way or another. Syrian refugee murdered girl in Vancouver 2018. That's racist. You can't say that. Islamist grooming gangs can assault 250,000 girls, and the perpetrators still get treated like lost puppies by the